Hello, everybody. It's Preston Poulter here with Pocket Jacks Comics. I am joined by the ever constant John Lamont, and
Evening.
this is our Wednesday night writer stream where we go over pages that we have written. Last week we had John's presenting pages every week, very good, as is Molby, but apparently due to work he's not going to be able to make it this evening. But there is a link down in the description for Syntagion on Kickstarter. It's over $300 now, which, look, it's his first time project. He doesn't have much of an art budget. He's doing his best, and it's going to be a success. So I'm happy about that. That's pretty cool. I'm glad to have helped make that a reality. But there is a link. I encourage you to go and support him down in the description. Meanwhile, based on the feedback I got last week, I completely threw away the Guinevere 5 script. And
wait, completely?
Yeah, everything. Just threw it all out, and then nope. So now you will now be seeing a new script this evening. Oh, there you go. Hope you're happy. Let's see. You've got what do we have? You've got some not Angel of Darkness. What is it? Demonatrix. Demonatrix. Yeah, I was thinking all right. To tell me what we did. What are we going to read tonight? What's going
on? This will be the end of episode 1.
Oh, it's a series.
Yes, I wrote it as a series. It's 10 episodes.
Okay, cool.
Each episode is about 35 pages.
Okay, all right. Let's see. And so like network TV webisodes kind of thing.
It's most likely going to end up being a Daz comic, but it has an adult animation Netflix style.
Okay.
Like if it was ever produced, that's kind of what I would see, like a streaming platform for adult animation. I don't think, I just don't see how budget wise it would make. You'll find out budget wise, in this part, but you're going to find out who the two people that have been stalking Lolita the entire episode are.
Thank goodness. I hope there's going to be some really great dialogue.
I hope it's fantastic.
Okay, cool. All right. Meanwhile, the world's going a little crazy, as I expected.
Is it now? I hadn't noticed.
Yeah. Man, it's I like it when the election is just over. I don't like the 2000 style where we gotta call in the replay officials and I don't know.
Call in mommy and daddy and say, "All right, children, sit down, behave."
Yeah.
Though I will say I am quite happy with my state.
Okay, yeah. Well, way to go, Florida! Go, Florida! There you go.
Closed, and they announce it in 5 minutes. I'm like,
there you go. That's
why
what we like.
Everybody be like that.
There you go. That's what we like. Yeah.
It might have taken us 20 years to get it straight.
Right.
But at least.
Yeah, you were the problem last time, but you cleaned up your act, and I'm glad. This will never be over. Hello, Todd. How are you? We'll be hearing. Yes, we will be hearing about this one forever. And look, this was before my time, but with the Kennedy-Nixon, the one where, where Kennedy got elected, there were stories about, about voting irregularities in the state of Illinois, and all of a sudden these votes show up out of nowhere. So, this is it's not altogether unheard of, but this will probably be like that Kennedy-Nixon election where where it's being referred to for many years to come. Just going, oh yeah, you remember the show, and I hope that means that in the future we're going to try and make sure that this stuff doesn't happen. And in the future, when people are like mail-in ballots, we're like, no, you don't want that. Do you remember the last time? That was bad. Nobody likes that. But who knows? Hello, Larry.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello, Larry. Hey,
I'm
Larry. Maybe
okay.
you're Canadian. Maybe you can answer this question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are a bunch of the Canadian YouTubers that I follow on Twitter? Why do they get so worked up on American politics?
That's a really good question. Our media
I'm like,
does too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really don't understand it myself, but
Right.
you're in the Canadian utopia. You're like, you guys think that
Oh.
everybody should be like Canada.
Yeah.
So
well, not
you're
exactly.
where. So like, when half the people in America don't get what they want to go to
Canada, yeah.
Canada, and the
Yeah.
other half wants to go to Texas and succeed. So
Well, I mean,
I don't really.
I'm kind of in a weird majority up here. I don't really follow the mainstream Canadian politics per se.
I just don't get it.
I would be happy if my province became part of the United States, for example. So, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I just want to start telling people, look, you're not American, so just your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah, they
I
don't
don't
have enough
care
to write about
what-
in Canada. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it
exactly.
doesn't matter politically at all. So I really don't.
Dude,
I mean, they go on
Canada-
and on about
Canada has
trade and
do.
blah blah blah. And, yeah,
Canada has domestic terrorists that speak French.
it's true. We do.
I never heard of French-speaking terrorists before. I'm like, really?
Well, it's Quebec, right? You know,
Yeah.
Quebec is. I mean, they want to become their own country, but
Right.
they also want to still use our currency. So you know, it doesn't really work out like that, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that multiculturalism doesn't work?
No, it doesn't not.
Oh.
Yeah, globalism doesn't work. Multiculturalism doesn't work.
Okay.
Not for a sustainable country anyway. But.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, you should have told us about that before.
Well, you know, I try not to get too political on here.
Yeah. They're called
Quebecans.
Quebecans.
No,
There you
Quebecers.
Yeah.
Quebecois.
Yeah, I took a trip to Montreal once.
Montreal's not a bad place, but
Yeah, and and this has happened to me more than once. I look, Texas, Southern California. I'm a Southern boy. I'm just used to warm stuff. So, but I get there on Quebec and I realize I just got a T-shirt. Like that's all I have, and I'm like,
good luck.
it seems a little cold here. So I'm wandering around like I need to buy a sweater, right? So let me take some of their funny money, which feels like plastic. Canadian money feels like plastic.
Yeah. When did you come up?
I've got a couple of times.
Okay. Yeah.
The time I went to Quebec was like, oh god, that was 07. I remember specifically because like the crash was happening at the time. Like,
we used to have paper money, and then they switched to this plastic stuff,
right?
Which is more durable. However, yeah. It's also a pain in the butt to deal with accounting and stuff like that. So
yeah.
So
so I was there, and I'm trying to find a sweater to buy. So I'm looking around, and all the signs are not in English.
Not in Quebec, no.
Yeah, and anyway,
I thought everything had to be in English and French.
No.
No.
Yeah. Okay, it's really weird. So our provinces do have a degree of control, kind of like your states do, and the provinces set whether they want to be unilingual or bilingual. The only bilingual province is the one that I am in, which is New Brunswick, which can't afford to be bilingual, but continues to be bilingual nonetheless. Yeah. And Quebec is French, and the rest of Canada is English. So that's just the way it works. Yeah.
So, I'm wandering around trying to find a sweater. So I find a clothing store, super cool, and I'm looking through all these sweaters, and I'm trying them on, and they're a little tight. And then somebody tells me, "You're in the women's section." Good to know.
Can you tell by the colors? No, I'm just kidding.
Can't read these stupid damn signs. What the hell is that? Yeah. So
that works. Yeah.
Yeah. But all right. So let's see what we got. All right. So we got my new Guinevere pages We got Demon
I think
H,
Larry's got some pages.
and Larry has some pages.
I have pages.
So what do we want to look at first?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
I don't know. Mine's long, so let's start with your guys.
All right. You want to
Well,
go
we're only
first,
doing
John?
10 pages no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Yeah,
But,
the length is kind of irrelevant.
yeah, sure.
I started reading Three Jokers because I don't have time. I've been shipping out. I'm almost done with the Guinevere 3 fulfillment. And then I'm going to launch right into White Lily trade paperback. Link in the description. Go sign up for that. It's going to have a poker deck and cool stuff. I'm doing all this stuff. I don't really have time to even read comics. And I also discovered, for the most part, I don't really like reading comics. I like it if it's a good story, but for the most part, they're not. They got like these big fight scenes that go on for most of the issue, and
it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I buy comics pretty much every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then I usually just let them pile up until I
Right.
sit down and read them. But I buy a lot of the Star Wars comics for some reason still, and like maybe one out of every 15 is actually a decent read. So,
yeah. So
sad.
An old college friend of mine
Yeah.
was like, "You got to check out Three Jokers." All right, fine. So I'm buying, and I'm, Jeff Johns. I hear he's a good writer, and I'm certainly not saying he's a bad writer. All I'm saying is, I was surprised at how many panels per page he felt comfortable with. He was like 9 per page seemed to be his standard.
Yeah.
I'm just page after page after page. It wasn't like, oh, this time I'll go for 9. It was like 9 was his standard, and he would only break from that if there was a need to show more for action or whatnot. And I was like, I never write 9 on a page. And like the idea of standardizing on that, I'm like, ooh. But
isn't it like 4 to 6?
Yeah, for me it's 4 to 6. And
that's what I find myself doing.
Yeah.
Unless it's dialogue heavy, then I might do less.
I have
and a lot of Jeff Johns' stuff was like headshots and dialogue. So it'd be like, this guy would say this, and then new panel, this guy would say that, and then new panel, this guy would say that. And like me, what I prefer to do is I prefer to just have like a big image.
Yeah.
Because then I've given the art team more real estate to have something cool, maybe something saleable, but certainly something impressionable, and just have a lot of word balloons coming off of one big image to represent a conversation.
Right, exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that's why they have directional lines on the word bubbles, right? So
Right.
But I get what you're saying. So I find 6 to be a little heavy at most times. I think in the new script that I'm going to present tonight, a little later on in it, I have one panel that has 9, but it's an action sequence that goes in the flow, so it's a little different. So
I don't know if you remember, Larry, but I kind of did the same thing when I was doing my script for the contest thingy. I had one page that had the 9 panels because it was basically an action scene. There was no dialogue. It was just a guy fighting a bunch of people. So it was punching this guy in a panel, punching that guy. So I mean, that's where I would see you would do 9 because you're trying to do a major action scene like that.
Yeah, this was like 9 different characters doing different actions.
But no, I'm saying like if you check out
you're just
Three
doing
Jokers,
9 panels of dialogue. That's
that's terrible. Yeah,
check it out, Three Jokers. I mean, look, and I'm assuming this is just Jeff Johns' style. Like, I don't think he adapted that for specifically this story. I think
there is one artist I like, that one artist writer I like, Tom Scalini. He does panels, and I think in a couple of his books he had like 14 panels on one page. But that's just his thing, right? Like he breaks them down in like a grid in some pages.
Yeah,
and it's just like, it's really weird, but it's kind of fun at the same time.
All right. So to answer this question, print on demand, people do it. I haven't heard a big. All right. Look, I'll give you the straight answer. Okay. If you're moving a lot of books, then there's no reason to really do print on demand, because you get discount from the printer per volume. So if you've got good volume and you can call up your printer and go, I need 1,000 books, then boom, like then you should just go and get the volume discount for working with a printer. What print on demand allows you to do is it's more for like the small people who are like, it's only going to be 20 copies or whatnot.
Or if you don't know.
Yeah, or if you don't know, right? Then you got print on demand. But I mean, by its nature, then that means we're talking about small campaigns, which aren't necessarily going to bring in a lot of money and aren't going to have a lot of big smashing success stories. So print on demand is a viable option for people who just need a few copies.
What about for international? Because I know through Amazon.
Now I've heard, and look, this will be the same in terms of the question about digital. I've heard that Amazon and whatnot. Oh well, cool. Check it out. If someone in Canada or France or Germany, whatever, Russia wants to buy your comic book, well then it's more convenient because theoretically Amazon can just print it from a local printer and ship it locally from their country of origin, and then you don't have to worry about the customs and the whatnot. Okay, well, again, we're still back to discussing small operations. I've never heard of anyone who's like, oh, and for the 1,000 or so backers I got in Turkey, hey, check it out, we got print on it. So it's still kind of small. A digital is, digital is great because it allows you to ignore those things. You can just send people PDFs.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't have to worry about it. And quite frankly, that's really my solution. If you're an international backer, you don't want to pay $28 in shipping. Okay, well, here's a PDF. Just $3, call it a day. That's how I like to do it. So, yeah. Now, to me, I focus on showing people the money. I'm like, look, this is all about getting the big totals, because the faster you can get to working with a printer and going, okay, let's get 400 books, let's get 500 books, let's get 500. Then as your economy of scale starts to increase, is where you start to have more take home. It's where you start to get more notoriety. It's where you start to develop a reputation. So I don't focus on print on demand because it's not part of that scene that I'm going towards. And digital is certainly something I offer, but it's not something I particularly worry about. Like the last campaign I did, I don't know what, 50, 60, out of like 11,000, out of the $11,500 goal, or no, sorry, that of $11,500 that came in. I don't know, we had like 50, 60, 80 digital backers at $10. So $800 was digital. Hooray. It was $800, but so what,
well, the way I see it,
yeah.
Why not do digital? I mean, you have to make the file anyway.
Oh,
print,
well,
so,
because you lose a lot on publishing deals. I learned that from William Gray.
Oh, of course, yes. I forgot about that. Yeah.
The savior of comics. That's totally a joke, by the way. But he tells such crazy lies. He's like, oh yeah, no, it's because Ethan's little crowd. They don't like for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they just decided they didn't like digital comics.
You have the file that you have to send to the printer to print.
Anyway,
why not just put it up as
as
a tier? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not. There's not any extra work. You have to do it anyway. Like,
see, have any of you read G.I. Joe? I have not.
No.
I did recently see the Kickstarter pitch video for Aubrey Stitterson's Beef Boys, and anyone who let that guy near G.I. Joe should absolutely lose their job, because he has no business writing the great American hero. Anyway, it features Snake Eyes with no text at all. Okay, huh? Well, I mean, that sounds interesting. All right, we got John. We got Derelicts in a Crack House. This sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
do it.
Talk. Okay. All right. assign the parts. What do we got?
All right. I don't know. Larry, why don't you do Lolita again?
Sure.
And I don't. And yeah, Preston. Screw it, Preston. You'll do Emmy. I don't think Emmy has that many lines.
Okay.
But why don't you guys just go back and forth as people pop up? There's going to be a couple different lines.
So I don't have any parts other than just random lines that come up.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, who's narrating?
I mean, you can be Joel when he shows up.
Thank God.
He has some lines with
I was
Lolita.
Okay.
Who
is our narrator?
I'll narrate.
Go for it.
All right. So previously on Demonatrix, having left Emmy in the lurch for the murder of her father, the demon Lolita has been partying through the city. The high point of her trip so far, finding a cozy spot to ingest heroin. All right.
In the eyeball, who does that? I don't know any. Look, of all the heroin addicts I hang out with, I don't know anybody who were that hardcore. But
I established it later that bullets and things can't pierce her skin.
No, I know.
So it occurred to me that a needle can't pierce her skin. Right. So I had originally I had her shooting up in her arm, and then in the next episode she's being shot at and bullets are bouncing off her skin, and I'm like, okay, these two things don't work out together. So I went back and I had to change it, and
Ethan
eyeball just seemed like the thing to do.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go for it.
All right. Exterior, derelict housing block, crack house. The coroners load a body bag into the van. Joel and Tatiana arrive in their SUV. They walk up to Jacobs, interviewing the thug leader. Jacobs turns his attention to them.
Oh, look, it's the feds.
What? I didn't do it. Man, I swear. We only want the girl.
Mr. Tough Guy here says a girl about 5 foot tall, about 100 or so pounds, white or Asian, ripped out the throat, and now the deceased checks his notes. Miles Renquist.
Yes.
They said that right?
Yes, okay. You said it perfectly.
Tatiana ignores Jacobs, takes a few steps toward the house, stops.
And his Mulby, who apparently couldn't be here to work, says, "Make sure I look good. John, my psychiatrist, said you're the depiction of child, left some hope for me as a human being." There we go.
God.
Hey, you can't go in there without a warrant.
Oh, what?
Well, first Joel and Tatiana have to walk into the house.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. I got. It's hard to manage the chat sometimes. So Tatiana
ignores Jacobs and takes a few steps toward the house.
But that's what you're supposed to say.
I just said it.
She's here.
Okay.
And Joel and Tatiana walk into the house.
Hey, you can't go in there without a warrant.
And ignoring him, they enter the house. That's a little wordy. I need to fix that.
Aren't you going to stop them?
Are you giving me permission to enter your house and remove trespassers? I'm not going in alone. And Officer Alvarez over there he's equipped with the state-of-the-art body cameras. So with your permission, we'll be happy to.
And if you're writing in screenplay format and intending it to go to like that's kind of, or comic book format, a lot of times they'll just look at the script and go, where's like a natural start and stop to the action, and then they'll just go, okay, kind of look. But yeah, a lot of times you're leaving that up to your penciler, which is what I did on White Lily 1, and I wasn't happy with the results. Like I was like, I would have broken it down differently. He was ignoring some stuff I wanted to do. So after that, I became more of a control freak, and I'm like, no, panel 1, panel 2, panel free. So that's how I do it. But if you're doing screenplay format, then that means you don't really care that much about it.
And most likely the director is going to make that decision anyway.
Yeah.
The director of your Daz comic?
That's right.
Well, if as a Daz comic, I'll figure that out when I'm actually doing it, because I do it stream of conscience. Like, I will literally do the layout in my head as I'm doing it and then render it.
So, like storyboarding, yes. There we go.
Yeah, well, because Daz works more like a film than it does a comic, because it's 3D, so you build the set, you like the set, you put the characters in the set, you post and set up the characters, then you load a camera in the set, and then with the camera, you then do your stills. So it's more akin to doing a film than it is a comic, because I have to actually build the set. I don't actually plan what the panels are going to be until I'm actually in there with the camera, and then I figure out what's the best angle. So it's... Anyway, that's a little in the weeds.
Todd,
but,
since you're deciding, take a look and absorb here what John's doing, and then when we get to my script, which will be next, you're going to see some panels, and then you can decide which one you prefer.
Yeah. And even with my other script, which I'm still working on rewriting, that was originally a screenplay, I will probably continue to write in screenplay, because to me, screenplay is easier to write for action, and then I can break it down into panels later, when I actually try to visualize what they're going to look like. Otherwise, to me, trying to stop and visualize every panel,
it's sure, I understand.
For me, as I said,
but
everybody's
I gotta say this. I found it improved my screenplay writing. Like when I went to comic writing format, it forced me every time to go, where's the camera? What's the scene? What am I seeing? Where's the emotion? True. And then when I
noticed that as well.
Yeah, and then when I went back to writing like a screenplay or something, it became way more evocative and way more anyway. So
yeah, there's advantages to that, and sometimes you can switch them back and forth, and because you find out when you do a comic book, you spend more time focusing on that particular angle and that particular frame in that panel, and cutting out all the weeds. And sometimes with a screenplay, you're just writing, right, and you can throw in a lot of crap that isn't going to be there or isn't helpful. So,
go ahead.
All right, interior crack house, the upstairs room. Lolita lets out a long sigh.
Fuck.
She opens her eyes as Joel stands across the room from her.
You know the rules.
I'm going to be dead in 36 hours anyway. And what do you care? I'm not hurting anyone. No one that wasn't asking for it anyway.
Joel steps forward.
That's not the way this works.
Hallway, outside Lolita's room. Tatiana looks into one of the other rooms, sees a small boy playing with some trucks. She walks in, kneels down.
Hi there, I'm Tatiana. What's your name?
The boy continues playing.
Is your mommy or daddy here?
The boy looks over to a woman in her 30s, strung out high as a kite. Lolita's room. Lolita picks herself up as Joel cautiously steps forward.
You holier... sorry. That's sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
You holier than thous are totally a total buzzkill.
She closes her eyes, centering her mind.
Fuck it. I'm going out on my own terms.
Lolita releases her human form. Her wings appear, ripping through her clothes. Her horns grow from her flesh as her skin darkens to brick red. The druggies stare at her.
Don't.
Make me.
Lolita flies straight up, crashing through the ceiling. Outside, an explosion draws Jacob's and the others' attention as a dark blur rises out of the roof into the sky. What the fuck? Inside, Joel grumbles to himself.
Tatiana!
She races into the room.
Crowd control!
Joel releases an illusion surrounding himself, revealing large, white, angelic wings, shining silver armor, and a sword, a gold bracer around his right arm. He leaps through the hole in the ceiling after Lolita.
He's like an angel and shit.
Mommy.
He is an angel and shit.
Yeah.
Mommy! Boys' room. Tatiana rushes back into the room. As the boy shakes his mother, she vomits blood and fluids. Tatiana kneels beside her, but it's too late. She picks up the boy, hugging him as he cries, "Mommy! Mommy!"
It's going to be all right.
Tatiana steps backward, watching. Another vagrant moves to the woman's corpse. He takes the needle, which still has a few milligrams left, from her arm. Another vagrant attempts to take it from him. Another vagrant fondles the corpse sexually and rubs himself. Anger and rage fills Tatiana. She puts the boy down. She materializes a dagger with a shining blade. Running to the vagrant fondling the corpse, she picks him up with supernatural strength, stabbing him with the blade. A light burns through his body. The other two vagrants notice the bright explosion of light. Tatiana turns her righteous anger on them, stabbing them both through. Exterior, crack house.
It's not going to be all right, kid.
Screams and flashes of light burst from various windows as Tatiana approaches the crack house. Exterior, neighborhood sky. Lolita flies upward, full speed. Joel keeps pace, draws his sword, catching up with her. Joel swings the sword. Lolita grabs his arm, trying to keep the blade from piercing her skin. A hovering police chopper takes notice.
Controller, you're not going to believe this.
Lolita kicks Joel off of her. Spotting the helicopter, she charges at it. Lolita slams the nose of the helicopter, throwing it off balance. She swings around to the side.
Fasten your seatbelt, boys. It's going to be a rough landing.
Lolita releases the helicopter and crashes into the tail rotor, sending the helicopter spinning downward out of control. Lolita looks back at Joel, blows him a kiss before disappearing into the clouds. Joel grits his teeth and sheathes his sword. He flies low, grabbing the helicopter.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'll be your guardian angel for the day. I want to take an opportunity. All right, this is a small little opportunity, because I know dialogue and you sometimes feel a little frustrated. These are both written with this kind of snarky, sarcastic-y tone, which I feel like is like your default. I feel like you could be playing this way bigger,
Okay. Like what do you mean by bigger, I guess?
Like Lolita could be like, your souls are about to join me in hell. Like there's
well,
like,
she's not going to hell. Well, I mean, not that matters, but she's not planning to go to hell.
Well, isn't she a demon?
Yeah.
Demons don't. All right, in your cosmology, demons don't hang out in hell.
Well, they do, but she's not in hell, and she has no intention of going back. That's why she's fleeing from the angels.
Okay, well, whatever line you want, I'm just saying. Okay. She could be saying way more fucked up shit than fasten your seatbelt, boys. It's going to be a rough ride. All right, look. I've been shipping Guinevere 3. Okay, so I've been watching almost nonstop for like 48 hours. I've been watching film reviews on YouTube as I'm just packing stuff and shipping it, shipping it. Yeah. And there was this one video on Bruce Willis, and it went back to one of his like 90s movies or something. I don't know. It was one of those dumb comedies that bombed. And there's the line, it was after Hudson Hawk.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was the worst dumb comedy that he did.
Yeah. But it was, but like the reviewers mentioned their views at the time and were like, everybody in this movie is just trying too hard to be cutesy and funny. And there was this thing where Bruce Willis is on a stretcher and an ambulance, but they open up the doors and dump him out on the road. And so he's going down the street and the wheeled stretcher is like the cars are coming up. And Bruce Willis is like, how's my driving? 1-800, I'm going to fucking die. And it's cute.
That is Hudson Hawk.
That is Hudson Hawk? Okay.
Yeah, that is Hudson Hawk.
All right, then it was Hudson Hawk.
I'm sad to say that I remember that movie. But...
Okay. It's kind of a funny line, but like it's just a little cute. And if everybody is talking like that, it just gets and I feel like you've kind of got these. Everyone's kind of talking in these kind of cutesy, little snarky, sarcastic things.
I'm trying to keep the tone light. I don't want this to be a dark.
You're trying to keep it light, but people are shooting heroin into their eyeballs. We got people feeling up a dead corpse while they're touching themselves. I mean, your tone's all over the place. Well, go ahead. Yeah. All
right. Well, all right.
I'm just saying. I believe we were with he scans the ground as the helicopter.
Okay, yes.
No. I was just thinking about what you were saying. That's all. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I all right, yeah. So he scans the ground as the helicopter spirals toward the houses. Looking around, he spots the park.
We're going to aim for that field.
The pilot nods before turning the navigation controls hard. Joel tilts his wings. He flaps with one while guiding the spinning helicopter over toward the field. On the ground, Jacobs and the others watch as the burning helicopter continues spinning wildly overhead toward the park. Sky. Joel yells out, using all of his strength and power to keep the chopper moving laterally. The helicopter continues its downward spiral until crashing onto the field. As the helicopter flips and rolls, Joel releases it. In the seconds it takes from letting go and landing on the ground, his dark suit and sunglasses illusion spell reactivate. The rolling helicopter stops, leaving the crew hanging upside down, strapped to their seats. They're alive, albeit a bit banged up. Jacobs and the EMTs rush to the crab site and start digging out the pilots. As Jacob pulls the pilot from the wreck, he looks up, notices Joel is gone. Scanning the area, he spots Joel and Tatiana getting into the SUV and driving away. Exterior parking lot day. Joel pulls the SUV into a strip mall parking lot. He throws the vehicle into park in frustration. Larry, you can take over Tatiana.
Okay.
You were supposed to be on crowd control.
I'm sorry.
An angel hasn't been sighted in over 1,000 years.
I'm sorry.
I want you to stay on the vessel. You are not to interact with any human unless absolutely necessary to carry out your assignment.
Yes, sir.
You spot the demon. You are to report to me immediately. You are not to engage the demon directly. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Joel gets out of the vehicle, slamming the door and walking away. In a bright flash, he disappears. Tatiana sighs, moves to the driver's seat.
I can't help but think about how that scene would be different if, like, you wrote Joel as Arlie Ermy. What is fucking this?
I'm not sure who that is, so
Arlie Ermy was the actor who played the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket
and various other drill sergeants.
Yeah.
It was kind of his norm.
It was his thing. Yeah, it was his norm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What is your major malfunction, private pile? Anyway, go ahead.
Oh.
All right. Interior State Mental Hospital Recreation Room day. Patients, drugged out of their mind, move about like zombies. A few attempt to play checkers, but don't even know what they're doing. Emmy sits in a chair, staring out into space. State Mental Hospital lobby. Lolita, back in human form and dressed in a new outfit, enters the lobby. She walks up to the nurse at the desk.
Hi, I'm here. I'm a friend of Emily Riley. I was hoping I could see her.
Sign in, please.
Lolita marks the sign sheet. The nurse types in the computer.
I'm sorry, but it seems Miss Riley isn't allowed visitors right now.
But it's visiting hours.
You'll need law enforcement authorization to visit her right now. Sorry.
Lolita purses her lips.
There's an FBI agent around here that's been keeping an eye on her. You could probably ask her.
The nurse looks around the lobby.
I don't see her right now, but if you want to have a seat, I'll let her know you're here.
That won't be necessary.
Lolita exits the lobby. Interior, State Mental Hospital patient's room. Female patient sits up on her bed, speaking with Tatiana, who appears in her angelic form. White feathered wings behind her back, shining silver armor with twin daggers hanging off her hips, and a gold bracer on her left arm.
Can you make him stop?
That's why I'm here.
The patient smiles. Tatiana leans forward, kissing her on the forehead.
I promise you, he won't touch you ever again.
Thank you. I knew God would answer my prayers.
He has. You can rest easy now.
Tatiana walks through the door. Hallway. Tatiana peers through the door wearing her suit. She takes a deep breath. State Mental Hospital. Lolita walks around the outside of the building. She notices bars over the windows, even up to the third floor. She jumps, scrambling up the bars on the first floor window, using them as leverage to jump up to the second floor window. Then she climbs up as high as she can to jump to the third floor window. Lolita looks in the recreation room, sees Emmy sitting in the chair. She taps on the window.
Emmy.
She grits her teeth, bracing herself. She grips the wall and pulls on the bars, bending them back. She creates an opening just big enough for her body. Finding the window unlocked, she pushes on it. Janitor's closet. The door unlocks. The janitor enters, putting his gear into his cart. Tatiana enters, letting the door slam behind her.
You can't be in here.
Preston, you can be the janitor.
Oh, okay.
You can't be in here.
What's the matter? Do you prefer your women less mobile?
What the?
Tatiana kicks the janitor, sending him crashing into a shelving unit. She snaps a mop at the base. Grabbing the janitor,
I don't even. By the way, I don't even know what that line means.
What?
Do you prefer your women
less mobile?
I don't even know what that means.
Like less mobile.
I understand.
Like less able to get around.
Yeah.
Like strapped to a bed,
Yeah.
like in a state hospital room.
Okay, that joke's a little lost on me, but all right.
Not entirely meant to be a.
Oh, okay.
Declaration.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
She snaps a mop at the base. Grabbing the janitor, she throws him face down on the ground.
Let's see you like having things shoved in holes against your will.
So
That should be
Tatiana's
like-
an angel?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently.
She's
like
This scene is another one that kind of goes against the lighthearted tone that you offer with your dialogue. I'm just saying. All right.
Oh, Greg, sorry.
All right. Go ahead.
So, Tatiana sodomizes the janitor with the broken end of the mop handle. Righteous anger fills Tatiana. She shoves harder. The janitor's screams are cut off. What?
Sorry.
Do we know who this fucking janitor is?
Yeah. Well,
we just met this guy.
I'm assuming this refers to the scene earlier when they were talking about him, and she wasn't going to let him touch. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I got that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You got that.
I was a little taken. I'm like, who's this janitor guy?
Oh.
Anyway, okay. I get it now.
Father God, would you please send my guardian angel to sodomize that bully? Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Let's do this.
It's not.
Wait, with a broom handle.
Okay.
All right. As he gurgles blood, Jesus Christ, is she killing him? How does he gurgle blood being sodomized with a broom handle?
Well, oh,
you with us, John?
Oh, Spike's cut.
Oh, he's here.
Huh?
Oh yeah, John, your mic is muted.
Yeah, that was my cough button. Sorry.
Oh,
Righteous anger fills Tatiana. She shoves harder. The janitor's screams are cut off as he gurgles blood.
Exactly, yeah.
Tatiana stands up straight, watching as the janitor dies in a growing pool of his own blood, the mop handle barely visible. To be continued.
There's some Old Testament justice for you. All right.
That's kind of the idea, but
okay. All right. It's memorable. We have some memorable scenes. Like I will be referring back to, remember when that guardian angel just like raped that dude to death with the broom handle? Yeah, that was crazy shit. So memorable is good. We like things we can remember.
Yeah.
We got action. Yeah. What do you think?
It's not the writer's stream unless there's someone getting a blowjob or fucked up the ass apparently. So
yeah.
But anyway, no, it was different for sure. The angel thing kind of came out of left field. I kind of like that. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the little surprises like that. And John seems to write a lot of little surprises into a lot of his scripts. So
he does.
It keeps it interesting, that's for sure.
Does, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on constructive. if we're gonna sodomize somebody to death, I'd like to get to know them a little bit first before I go like hit a home run. You know what I'm saying? Because in this one we go from like not knowing this guy, or apparently only hearing this guy being referred to just murdering his whole and like no time at all. Like, you know, like here's like the interactions start and then within a page he's dead. So you don't you're not building a whole lot of dread. You know what I'm saying?
Or
for what's going to happen to the poor janitor.
That's okay.
That's
not the point of the scene.
Okay, so
the point of the scene is
Go ahead.
The point of the scene is I'm setting up Tatiana.
Right, but what emotion do you want the audience to feel watching the scene?
I want them to be holy crap, that angel is nuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what the hell is she going to do next?
Well, I feel like in the scenes previous to that scene, Tatiana hasn't been portrayed as being particularly insane. If anything, she's been rather subordinate. Go here, do this, you know, kind of stuff.
Until she decided to kill a bunch of people in the crack house.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Then she was given orders by her superior to not engage with anyone.
Right.
Unless necessary to fulfill her mission. Her mission is simply to keep an eye on Emmy and wait for the demon to appear.
Okay.
And instead, she's answering prayers of patients in a mental hospital.
All right.
Okay.
My request, okay, is okay. Well, let's go to her killing people in the crack house. Didn't that occur mostly off screen? Like there was like blood and spatters.
She killed one person on screen.
Okay.
And then she turned to kill the next person, and then we kind of cut to outside.
Right, cut to
and
outside.
We just heard what was going on.
And these people are just generic hobos doing drugs, right?
Basically,
yeah. Okay. What emotion did you want the audience to get from that scene, or is it more just like this bitch is crazy?
It more or less. Okay, so this is written as a series,
right?
10 episodes.
Yes.
In season 1.
Yes.
Tatiana is the season 1 villain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm building. That's what I'm doing. Is I'm trying to build her up as the season 1 villain.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I understand plot-wise what you're trying to do. My question was emotion. I understand the plot reason you have for why a scene exists. I'm asking a different question. What emotion do you want the audience to experience in the scene?
Well, mostly just just dread, unpredictability. Okay. Like we don't know what she's going to do, but she's not doing what she was supposed to be doing.
Right.
So I want us to kind of be like worried about, what's going to happen when she finds, say, Lolita.
Okay.
And what that interaction is going to be like, that kind of thing.
Then I want you to slow the scenes down. I want you to let them breathe a little more. I'd like there to be some more dialogue that sets up us and the audience starting to go, this is because these things escalate just way too quickly. We go from, hey, who are you? You're a janitor. You're fucking dead. Like it goes way too quickly. In order to experience as an audience member anything other than, whoa, that was kind of weird. You have to allow the audience to visualize and perhaps dread and root against, I hope she's not going where I think she's going with the broom handle or whatnot. And you go very quickly, like, again, we go from janitor being present to being dead within like a page. The murders in the crack house happen very quickly. And in both cases, she's killing more or less kind of anonymous, kind of generic people that, we don't really have any attachment to. So if you slow the scenes down a little bit, we'll at least get a few lines of dialogue, a little bit of back and forth. Maybe you'll give them some entertaining, memorable lines that the audience will go, oh, hey, cute, I like that. Oh, shit, he's dead, right? Like, at least you slowed it down for me to at least care about the person that you killed. because you're going just 90 miles an hour through these things to get on the next plot point, and it's not going to give your audience a chance to experience dread like you would like. But that's fine. Yeah, we don't have time to hit the janitor, man.
I have a solution for that, I think.
Yeah.
You could just set up a visual thing. You don't even really have to.
It's not a fatality. It's Mr. Clean.
You don't even really have to say anything other, because we don't really want to like him as a character, right?
Not necessarily.
He's doing some pretty gross stuff to people or whatever. Just have what's that?
He is sexually assaulting patients in a mental hospital.
So what I would do in that scene is just like in the closet where no one's supposed to be except him, maybe have like Polaroid snaps of suggestive things up on the wall or something like that from the patients, just to show that, this guy's kind of a scumbag. He kind of deserves what's coming to him in a way. So that kind of sets up your villain as sort of a good guy at first, but then you can kind of flip it around later on. I don't know.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted. That's not a bad idea. Yeah. Because what I wanted to set up is that the people that Tatiana starts out killing is basically bad people. And then eventually her moral compass is going to get a little. Right now, she kind of sees everything in black and white. So
yeah.
And basically she doesn't really see anything in gray.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
All right, boys.
There we go.
You are the king. You are the king of comedy when it comes to this writer's screen. That is for sure.
Yeah.
So
I don't care about the victim or the janitor yet. So the kill is it kills too fast.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like that idea. If I can set him up as more of a scumbag and get the audience hating him, because at first, while I do want to give the audience a sense of dread, and I want to basically plant the thought in the audience's mind that by the end of this series, Tatiana and Lolita are going to be going head to head.
Yeah.
And I want to build to that over this,
Well,
but what she's supposed, the idea kind of before is that she starts out kind of very black and white, where she finds these really, really evil people and enacts what she thinks is righteous justice on them.
Yeah.
And then that's going to kind of get a little blurry later on, and then she's going to end up making some really, really villainous decisions later. So that's kind of where I'm going with it and what I want to set up with. So
yeah, I get what you're going for.
Look, let me put it this way, okay? Pulp Fiction, right? When they're going to kill the guy for, does he look like a bitch? What? Say what? Like, that's like a 3 or 4 page scene, right?
Yeah.
But that was a hit, right? Those two went there specifically for the purpose of killing the guy, right? So they could have walked in, there's the guy, shoot the guy, leave, half a page. Or we could go in and have the does he look like a bitch conversation. But that conversation was interesting. And it gets us involved because we don't know necessarily that they're going to kill the guy. So we start to care about well, geez, we start to become a little bit, are they going to kill this? So it becomes a question. So, you slow the scene down, you give it some more dialogue and some more colorful interaction. And I think it improves.
Well, a better scene to draw inspiration from would be a scene in Terminator 2 where Linda Hamilton's in the institution and the guard bends down and licks her while he's tying her up, and then later on she beats him over the head with a tray when she escapes. So we don't even need to know who that guy was, just that he was a scumbag and she hit him. So
there you go.
That's more what I think he's trying to set up. Am I right?
Yeah, more or less. I mean,
yeah.
it's. I don't want to spend a lot of time with a character that's, his whole purpose is just to die,
just to get killed. Yeah,
it's to set up Tatiana on this, basically set her on the road of
if you
righteous
don't
vengeance,
get your audience to emotionally invest in Tatiana's actions. And by the way, this is a note I've given a lot to a lot of different people. You need to be particularly cognizant when you kill someone in your story, because that is a very special moment. You've ended someone's life. This little virtual character that you just created just died horribly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if your audience doesn't have a reaction to that, then that means they're going to disconnect from your world. If you're sitting here watching First Blood Part 2 and you understand that these aren't real soldiers, he's just mowing down through a bunch of extras, then you don't really care. But if you humanize them, now they start to care more, and now they have more of an emotional reaction, which is what you want. You want to build dread about what Tatiana is going to do and the things she's capable of, and you can't do that if you don't get your audience emotionally invested, and you can't do that if you're just racing through these scenes.
Okay, so maybe the best thing to do would be to take one of the two scenes, either the crack house or the janitor, and just have that be the scene and just expand on it then.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of having two separate scenes where she's going crazy on somebody or a group of people.
Yeah. Yes. So. If you gave us more time spent with people with more time spent killing, that's going to matter more than the body count. Like if she spends 2 or 3 pages to kill one person, that's going to be way more impactful than her killing 5 people over the course of like a page and a half to 2. So I don't know.
Okay.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
All right, Guinevere issue 5. Like I said, based on your notes, I threw away Guinevere 5 last week and started a new one. So here we go. All right, we got narrator, we got Guinevere, we got Elizabeth, we got Eric, we got a security guard, and we got Gatsby. Who wants to do what?
You assign the roles, Preston. Your script.
All right, Larry, you're going to be our narrator.
Okay.
And John, you can be Guinevere, and I'll be everybody who's not Viviax, because Larry will be Viviax. There we go.
Okay.
All
right. So, panel 1, page 1, panel 1. Large panel. Having just been kissed by Elizabeth to transfer the demon Viviax, Guinevere bears a lip-shaped burn going diagonally across her mouth. She sits back in her chair in a state of absolute panic. In the foreground, which should not be the panel's focus, Elizabeth gathers the papers from the table and puts them into her binder. Panel 2. Elizabeth stands before and surveys herself in the interrogation room's mirror. She buttons her blouse to a more conservative level. Her hair is a mess and her lipstick smudged. The mirror shows Guinevere behind her, still seated in the chair, unable to manage the state of intense anxiety that the demonic possession has brought about.
My recent experience harboring the demonic spirit in Viviax gives me sympathy for your plight.
I'm freaking out.
Panel 3, same POV as panel 2. Elizabeth straightens her mused up hair in the mirror. Must up hair in the mirror, which also shows Guinevere in the background banging her head against the metal table. Letterer note: as Guinevere is now possessed. Yeah, the script will now have occasion for her to speak in the voice of Viviax, which needs to be reflected in Viviax's lettering style. Bang.
I was informed that you wielded magic of a mental variety. You would do well to use it to gain control of yourself. We have all made sacrifices.
The soul of your husband suffers in hell for all eternity.
Panel 4, same POV as panel 2. Elizabeth holds her mouth in an O as she cleans off the lipstick with the sleeve of her lab coat. In the background, Guinevere attempts to control her sudden rage.
My husband was a wonderful human being. I bear the burden of what happened to him, and I reflect on it every day. Fortunately, we here at Pendex have developed some wonderful brain modification surgeries. With the loss of my husband, I decided I no longer have a need to feel love, grief, lust, or any other base emotions you seem to deal in.
Page 2, panel 1. Guinevere, medium shot. Guinevere and Viviac share their annoyance with Elizabeth. For this moment, Guinevere ceases to fight with Viviac for control and allows Viviac to voice their shared displeasure.
How, darling? You've become as much a robot as your boss.
Well, we are the ones who are saving young Valentina's life. Would you prefer the doctor in charge of surgery suffer from fits of anxiety?
Valentina? What's going to happen to her?
Panel 2. Elizabeth calmly holds open the interrogation room door for an uncertain Guinevere.
Come with me and I'll show you.
Panel 3. Elizabeth and Guinevere walk down a hallway reminiscent of a police precinct with doors leading to an interrogation and observation rooms. An elevator awaits them at the end where a security guard stands.
Where are you taking me?
To the information you requested.
I got a feeling the answers involve Eric's office.
Is that a problem?
Panel 4. Viviac takes control of Guinevere. She grabs Elizabeth's hair in her left hand and her chin in her right. Elizabeth seems unfazed as she receives the threat. The security guard goes for his gun.
Where'd the security guard come from?
In the prior panel, I said
he was standing.
Yeah. See, they left the interrogation room. They entered the hallway. At the end of the hallway, by the elevator, there's a security guard.
Okay, I'm sorry. I missed that.
Quite all right.
Listen, bitch. We don't need a tour of the facilities. What exactly do you intend to show?
Panel 5, the security guard takes aim. Guinevere maintains her grip on Elizabeth, but turns to face the guard.
Unhand Dr. Matheson right now.
Good idea.
Page 3. Panel 1, Guinevere, headshot. Evil yellow influence radiates from Guinevere's eyes as she exerts control over the guard's mind.
God, train your gun on Dr. Matheson's head. You will fire on my command.
Panel 2, security guard reaction. The guard's eyes lose focus as she exerts control over his mind.
Understood.
Panel 3, the guard stands next to Dr. Matheson with a gun trained right at her head. Guinevere stands back with her hands on her hips and delights in her handiwork. A spectral form of Guinevere extends out from her physical body and argues with Viviac. Letters note, for those scenes where Guinevere and Viviac vie for control of the same body, you may want to have the word balloons extending from the two separate figures.
I love being a ginger. Look, cut it out. We don't want to kill anyone, and we won't, as long as Dr. Matheson does not do us any harm.
I intend you no harm.
Panel 4, the security guard escorts Elizabeth to the elevator, prepared to end her life with a headshot on command. Guinevere follows.
Excellent, Doctor. Lead on.
Panel 5, the trio stand in the elevator looking out as its doors partially close. Page 4, Panel 1. Elizabeth walks into Eric's office, escorted by the security guard immediately behind her, holding a gun to the back of her head. Guinevere surveys the scene from behind and to the left of the pair. The wall behind Eric's desk, In the wall behind Eric's desk, underneath the sculpture of a human head, a cylindrical tank large enough to contain a person lies obscured in the shadow. The displays on the wall show medical charts and statistics for Valentina Haslett.
Uh-huh.
One display has a title at the top reading Suggested Genome Modification, with a picture of a DNA double helix on the left with lines leading to segments on the right, spelled out as an
Alphabet soup.
suit that uses the following letters.
You don't have to read the letters.
Okay.
The Hazlitt girl has a fascinating genetic makeup. She possesses certain mutations that we wish to study further. We have designated our gene therapy regimen to ameliorate the negative impacts of these mutations on her immune system, and once administered, we expect she will make a full recovery within a matter of weeks.
You could have just told us that, Doctor. No need to bring us down here to this secret lair.
This lair shall be your home now.
Panel 2. A humanoid figure speaks from inside the fluid-filled tank, which remains hidden in the shadow.
The girl will be saved, and you shall serve me.
Panel 3. An apprehensive Guinevere stands with a stoic Elizabeth and the security guard who remains ready to execute Elizabeth on command.
That you, Eric? Recovering from the last time you tried to pull this trick? We've got the answer on.
It should be we've got, yeah.
We've got the answer on Valentina. We'll be going now.
You think Gatsby will save you again? You stand there possessed by a demon, or as you stand there possessed by a demon, sorry.
Panel 4. Guinevere looks towards the displays. One shows Guinevere in the interrogation room signing the contract. Another shows the text of the contract itself with the header, Contract for Demonic Possession.
I have already forwarded this information to him. Since ancient times, consorting with demons has been a taboo for reality benders.
Panel 5. Furious, Guinevere manifests arcane energy into her hands, which appears to be bright red instead of her normal blue.
Bastard, you'll pay for that.
Panel 6. Eric, headshot. Still obscured in shadow, Eric responds.
Fiery. I like that about you.
Page 5, panel 1. Guinevere's face snarls in rage as the red arcane energy builds.
You're about to experience it firsthand.
Panel 2. She does a double take and looks at her hands, which show a noticed
dissipation
in the red energy as blue starts to flow into the mix.
Yeah?
Panel 3, large bust shot against a black background. To show the internal war between the two entities that control her body, a spectral Guinevere and Viviax face off behind the physical body of Guinevere.
You may be a powerful spirit, but I'm a mind mage. My body, my choice. What I want is
right. No, Larry reads Viviax.
Yes. Okay.
Oh.
What I want is right for both of us. Kill the woman, destroy the lab.
No, Valentina would die.
There'll be others. Your power grows. As your power grows, think of the lives you can save. You won't be able to do that chained to his desk.
Let him save her now. I'll find some way to escape in the future.
Sure of that, are you? Gatsby was the only way you were able to escape last time, and I doubt he's up for a repeat performance given what happened last time.
Yeah, I threw that in as a joke.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Page 6, panel 1. The office flashes with red alarm lights. One of the displays, an image of Gatsby parking his 1920s Roadster, last seen in issue 4. The security guard looks incredibly antsy. Elizabeth remains calm, with the gun still trained on her. Special effect.
Alert. Known hostile detected. Alert.
Looks like you were wrong about him not coming for me.
Panel 2, Eric headshot, obscured in shadow.
Not entirely unexpected. His feelings for you seem to go beyond an apprenticeship.
Panel 3, the spirits of Guinevere and Viviax continue their argument behind her physical body. Oh, he's right. If Gatsby knows about me, then he shouldn't be coming here to save you.
He loves me. That's not so strange.
Is that what you want? To be rescued by the man you had sex with?
Beats being chained to a desk.
I had this. You wanted the girl saved. I arranged it.
You were just about to kill everyone.
Just so they would know you were serious. People only respect you if you cause them pain. Panel 4, Elizabeth speaks with the security guard's gun still trained to her head.
You may want to tell the guard to lower his pistol. Might give your reunion a bit. Might make your reunion a bit less awkward.
Panel 5, Guinevere snaps back to reality.
Oh, yes.
Page 7, Panel 1. The guard calmly holsters his pistol, and Elizabeth assumes a more relaxed posture.
Well then, I assume we'll just wait here for Gatsby and do our best to pretend we haven't been trying to kill each other?
Panel 2, Eric headshot, obscured in shadow.
While we wait, allow me to share my motivation for bringing you here. I had plenty of time sitting in this tank while my fleshy exterior is recreated.
Panel 3, Elizabeth, Guinevere, and an uncertain security guard stand looking in the direction of the tank as Eric continues.
I never felt emotion before until you made me feel them. And when you were gone, I felt their terrible absence, a complete emptiness.
You seem pretty driven toward your work.
Yes, my mission, my reason for being, that I have worked for year after year, century after century, all meaningless.
No, I'm sure somebody appreciates you.
Panel 4, Eric's face continues his story in the foreground. In the background, we see Earth hanging in the vastness of empty space. An alien probe orbits the planet.
I exist as part of a probe sent here to study life in other parts of the universe.
Who sent you?
A people wise enough to ensure that their probe contained no evidence of their existence, merely a mission directive to gather information and transmit it towards the constellation you would call Orion's Belt.
Panel 5.
And that mission defined my entire existence, but as I sat here in this tube, allowing more synthetic tissue to collect on me, feeling this terrible emptiness, I started to question why I had this mission. What was it for? Did it serve any real purpose?
Page 8, Panel 1. Guinevere, Elizabeth, and the security guard turns towards a monitor that shows the constellation of Orion. Superimposed over the image is the computer's conclusion: no biosignatures detected.
And so I ordered a detailed scan of the region of space where I've been sending the data, and I found nothing. Absolutely nothing. Whoever sent me on this mission died out long ago in the countless eons of time. My entire existence and all I've been created, including this facility, which has amassed enough technology to make someone into a god, is all simply meaningless.
Panel 2, close on Guinevere. Guinevere softens.
I've existed longer than your entire race, but I don't know what the point of any of it is, and the only thing that I think would change that were if you were here with me.
Panel 3, Elizabeth and Guinevere look with annoyance to the security guard.
Wow, man.
Wow, man. Oh, I was going to jump in, but go ahead.
Yeah.
No, everyone at once. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow, man, that's pretty messed up.
That's funny, right? Yeah, made later. Yeah. Does he serve a purpose for being here?
Well, he's got a gun and does what I tell him to. Seems like maybe I should keep him around.
Chime. Panel 4, the elevator door opens to reveal Gatsby. Oh, he's reading.
Goodness, my dear. I told you about being around the wrong sort. Yeah, I continually seem to find you here.
Panel 5, Eric answers from inside his tank.
Come, Mr. Gatsby. Guinevere has been quite focused on the life of Valentina Hazlitt. We were just presenting her with our treatment plan.
Page 9, panel 1. Gatsby holds out one hand for Guinevere to join him.
Yes, well, I'm sure that's all very nice. I just came here to get my girl out of danger.
Panel 2. Guinevere extends her hand and steps towards him.
Thank you once again. Oh, and by the way, Todd, if you're serious, you want to like be on the show or something, just join the Discord, and there's a link to come on. It's under the sub tab on the Discord called Writer Stream Links. So, yeah.
Chime. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We have someone just for the SFX.
Yeah, exactly. So we have panel 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, panel 3. Spectral Guinevere and Spectral Viviax argue in the black space of the astral plane behind the physical Guinevere.
And Larry.
Oh, yes. No, you're leaving with him is a death sentence for Valentina.
Oh, stop it. You're just lying to me because he'll cast you out.
You've kept telling me how important it was to save the girl's life. Was that a lie?
Of course not.
Then you'll do what it takes to keep her alive?
Of course.
Then look into Gatsby's mind right now and see what he has planned for her. Panel 4. Guinevere looks to Gatsby. Do it.
Gatsby, before we leave, can you please speak to the situation about the girl's health? I've asked you about it before, and I'd like an answer.
Panel 5. Gatsby looks away.
I'll make sure she gets proper care.
Panel 6. Close on Guinevere. Her hands glow both blue and red as she conjures her magic.
No, Gatsby. Saving this girl's life is my mission. That's why I'm here. If you're taking me away, then I need you to open your mind to me and show me that you'll save her.
Page 10. Panel 1. He puts his hands on his hips.
So you're not going to go with me without an assurance that I'll play God?
You play God all the time. That's what the ability to wield magic is. But she is my charge, the young lady I've sought to save, and I have a right to know.
Panel 2. Gatsby becomes a bit incensed.
Well, dear, I'm here to rescue you from this place again. I'm not going to make that girl's life a condition.
If you want me to go with you, then I'm afraid you are.
She bears an ill omen.
Panel 3. Guinevere headshot.
A what?
Panel 4. Gatsby annoyed, medium.
It's fate magic. I haven't taught you yet. It allows you to see into the future. You can look down the road and see how Valentina interacts with the world around her. I can't tell you exact events or anything, but I can say that nothing good will come of modifying her genetics. She was born with defects, and I'm sorry, but she will have to die with them.
Panel 5. Spectral Viviax, standing behind and to the left of Guinevere, whispers into her ear. I told you. Now ask if he'll allow the treatment plan to go forward.
So what if I say no? I stay here, they treat the girl?
Panel 6. Gatsby, frustrated, close.
Look, you will come to understand all of this in good time.
I want an answer.
She cannot be allowed to undergo this treatment. There will be a real cost in human lives and world events. And that's the first 10 pages. So, anyway, I'm setting up for like a whole bunch of stuff about to erupt there in Eric's office.
Right.
So I figure that in previous episodes, Gatsby has tried to stop her from saving the girl.
He's always he's always like, well, that's your responsibility, right? You took on this quest to become a wizard. Go ahead. So he's always.
So this is the first time he's trying to outwardly stop her.
Well, this is the first time she's really pinned him down on the answer to that question.
Ah, okay. I guess I'll start. It was interesting. So issue 4 ends with her signing the contract and becoming possessed.
Yes.
So this So this is
this picked up immediately after. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's I like where it's going. It seems to start in a really interesting place, and I like what it's setting up. So yeah, it makes me curious about what's going to happen on the next pages. And I mean, I'm not putting the book down on page 10. That's for damn sure.
What do you think, Larry? Larry?
He muted himself.
Oh, well.
Probably hit the cough button.
All right,
Drinking water on the wrong side.
I'll go ahead.
The only other thing I would say would be Eric is a little too super villainy monologue-y.
Okay.
That's kind of what that's kind of the way I felt. Like, okay, here they're like, please stand back and allow me to monologue my backstory.
He's got to dump some exposition
as
on
supervillains do, because
right.
this is probably the only opportunity I'm going to have it.
Yeah.
So that just felt a little too, super villainy, cliched, monologue-y.
There's a reason why we see these things.
Yeah, I understand. You got to impart the information, and how else are you going to do it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that just kind of seemed like a little bit too much of the cliche of, what was it in Last Action Hero? It's like, oh, you always monologue. Like,
right.
Don't let the bad guy monologue. And Incredibles did the same thing.
Yeah. Wait a minute, you caught me monologuing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Larry, what
classic villain mistake.
Yeah.
Monologues are fun though. I like them, but
I think if the visuals are good while you're doing it, I think it can, it'll work. But yeah, it just did feel a little on the cliched side. And
is this similar, or this is a rewrite of what you read last week, or what we read last week? Okay, yeah, it's fairly different than what we read last week. But,
yeah, Preston's going for the happy ending on this one.
I see. He decided.
He didn't like what we had to say about that.
Look, you guys didn't like it. You were like, "This is bullshit." Okay, fine.
I kind of liked the story last week, but yeah.
Well, you were outvoted. All right.
Yeah, I know.
There's an updated Discord link for you, Todd. I know.
Oh yeah, those Discord links expire. I don't know if.
Look, I set it up so it wouldn't expire, but whatever. I'll put.
I don't know. I gave it to somebody. I gave it to the one artist that I was talking to, and he told me it was expired, and so I don't know.
Well, anyway. If you're in the Discord, which you are, there's a little button you can click on to invite people.
That was how I ended up inviting him.
There you go. Yeah.
But anyway, neither here nor there.
A guy came in last week and said, "Here's my Kickstarter. What do you think?" And I'm like, "I think it needs a little work."
I saw that.
Yeah, and then
did he stick around, or did he?
He's still there. He went and launched his Kickstarter.
Yeah, I saw that, and then he was like, "It's not doing good."
It's like it's not doing very well. I'm like, because look. You can ignore me all you want, all right?
Well,
my advice is free.
My advice is free. Just act like it's act like the free advice it is. But
I saw Lunga's assessment of it, so I had to click on it, and I'm like, I mean, it doesn't really show very much of what's going on in the story. It's just like a bunch of generic space stuff, which is all right, I guess, but didn't really draw me in. So
Yeah.
It's kind of like Richard's new book. Anyway, no.
There you go.
Yeah. Only he has characters on his page, so there's that.
All right. Well, I'm glad you like it. So this way I got it. I'll see if I can massage the monologue a little bit.
I thought it was better than the last one, because the last one was like super wordy, but
I will say putting it at the beginning of the issue is better than having it at the end of the issue. I did agree with that, because I noticed a lot of this was the same as what you had in the last,
Right, but it's in a different spot, see.
But it did occur to me that putting it at the beginning was good because then it's not going to slow down your climax.
Exactly.
Get it out of the way in the front.
So and now when we have the big battle, see, we already know what the motivation is behind all the different characters.
Right, yeah, you front load the exposition and get it out of the way.
Right.
And hope that the audience forgets all about it by the time they get to that exciting ending.
There you go. I think, wait, with Guinevere, I can just have like a panel of just breasts, and then the exposition can kind of wrap around it. And
there you go. Yeah.
Well, you did make her breasts big enough.
I did. Yeah.
I don't see any issue with that, but
Yeah. So.
Have to give them something to draw. I mean, come on.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, good. I'm glad. I'll see if I can massage the monologue a little bit, but I mean, I was sat here and I kept racking my brain. I'm like, because I know where I want the variables to go, but like every decision has to feel right, and it has to feel like the character would do that, and it has to feel like the audience would be okay with how things ended up. Because I kept coming up with different things of like, well, and then maybe Valentina has to die. But I'm like, no. So then I'm like, wait a minute, here we go. Gatsby has to not want Valentina to live. I'm like, why? Like, fate magic. Okay, there we go.
The fates have willed it.
Yeah, because look, if you can see the future, and who wouldn't want to use magic to see the future? But if you can see the future, then you have to start going, that person you like that's led a perfect life, it's a great person, yeah, they need to die. Why? Like, I can't tell you. So.
But
the plot requires it.
Exactly.
But isn't like the future unwritten though? Or are we dealing with like
well, that's kind of the idea. Like, if she does something or her life ends up creating a disaster, then by her not living, that disaster doesn't happen.
But
so I do like how other stories like Dead Like Me would deal with those types of things, where the universe would end up self-correcting. So while the main hero character is like, I'm going to save this 10-year-old girl. Well, because she saved this 10-year-old girl, there's a train wreck and a dozen people die.
Right.
I love that show, and that was that's a great show.
Yeah.
All right. So next we got some Larry Holder pages.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I wrote like a big recap of the first issue because nobody ever heard anything about it. I don't know if you want to read that or not, but
what do you want?
Probably would make more sense.
So previously on, okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Don't know if you want to read it because it's just text wall. So
I love reading walls of text.
All right, give her.
You got to summarize those things into like a paragraph.
I tried. I really tried. It was a 48-page book though, so there was a lot of stuff that happened.
But isn't that your issue 1 is 48 pages?
Yeah.
I thought it was only 22 pages or 24 pages.
No, this is the first book I wrote. This isn't Primal Chaos. This is Time and Space Lunarized. This is the one I tried to crowdfund and failed.
Yeah.
But I've got about half of it done so far. So.
Oh, you're funding it yourself?
Yeah. So.
The Angelus Oxina. Onazia recounts the history of the world of Inez, the rise of Dragol race, and their creation of the Haman and Arsted people, a great and ancient evil, Jesus Christ, how many damn unique, funky names are you going to throw at me?
Funky names, yeah.
All right. A great and evil, the Nocturnes, rise from the ground and threaten to destroy all life on the planet. The Dragol develop an ultimate attack, the Dragon Flare, and sacrifice their race to execute it and destroy the Nocturne. Thousands of years pass. Time jump.
Yeah, exactly.
Time jump 1,000 years. And the interbred race of Haman and Arsted people, the Angelus, have taken dominion in Inez in the wake of Dragol. They bring about a new modern age of peace among the three peoples. Things, take a dark turn. A fragment of the Nocturne remains and infects a human named Ragos. Ragos begins to spread evil across the world, once again by remaking the Nocturne's army of the undead, the Phobos. The Angelus take drastic measures to stop the threat by firing the powerful convergence ray from their floating cities upon infested areas, but they can hold the advance. The Angelus abandon the surface and hide in the floating cities, while the people of the surface are yet to fend for themselves.
Should have been they can't hold the advance, but anyway, sorry.
Years later, an Angelus Judicar, Thesinon, leads a secret group of his kinsmen to help the surface dwellers bring about a fighting chance and a spiritual guidance to the broken people of the world. His two protégés, Oxinia and Lucara, work and fight alongside him in the effort. Thesinon has a vision that a hominin child will be born, one filled with light to stop the darkness and answer to his prayer. Lucara believes he has gone mad and decides to join Ragos. He hatches a plan to destroy one of the floating cities and lay blame on Farsinon's group. Oxia learns of his plan and rushes to stop him, but he is too late. The city is destroyed and crashes to the surface. Oxia is knocked unconscious after narrowly escaping the blast. Lucara convinces Lord Chancellor Thermiar, leader of the Angelus, that Thesimon's group is responsible. Thermiar has the group hunted and killed. Oxinia awakens and returns to find Thesinon dying. Thesinon gives him one final mission: find the Savior Child and save the world. Oxinia heads to the surface alone to begin his quest.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wait, that's it? I thought that was for your pages.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'm like, all right, notes. What do we think?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
No.
That was just previously on. Okay.
Yeah, that was the previous one. Okay, so Preston, while you're getting that up, this is what I gotta say about your previous on, Larry. If your previously on is that complicated, nobody's gonna get into book 2 without having read book 1.
Right. Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you can't summarize your previously on, I don't.
That's the guy who wrote Dune, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was
So
written. It was written as one book. That was the problem, but
Right, but if you can't summarize the book in a short paragraph, you're never going to be able to sell book 2 to people who haven't read book 1. That's
yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying though. It's a complicated story. Yeah,
I understand that. So let me, as somebody who has done previously ons for every pages that I brought in so far, when I write a previously on, I don't try to summarize every plot point that happened before. I only focus on reminding people of the plot points related to the events that are happening in the pages that I'm presenting. So if you look at even the one that I did for tonight, I talked about Emmy. All I did was I say that Emmy killed her father and was left in the lurch. I didn't say anything about the background. I didn't say anything about Jasmine. I didn't say anything about her because it was not important to the 10 pages that I presented. So I only do that way. You can keep that previously on really, 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 really short. So just a thought when you're going to write those, just focus on tell us what we need to know about what's going to happen in the 10 pages you're presenting.
Right.
Which in this case is probably just going to be Onyxia is on a quest, sent on a quest because of his dead mentor. It's probably all we need to know about these 10 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
So, anyway,
there we go.
So,
Trump agrees. Keep the summary short and great again. There we go.
Here we go.
Larry?
So sign the parts.
Sign the parts.
Let's do this. Why are we starting on page 4?
I see a whole bunch of narration.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Followed by more narration. With a caption.
I think there's only 2
and then a caption, and then a narration, and then a narration. Okay, so who wants to do?
So is this a novel or a comic book?
It was originally written as a novel.
Oh, there we go.
Adapting it into a comic. Yeah.
All right, Larry, would you like to read your novel to us?
Sure.
All right,
Why not? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay, so page 1, panel 1, wide shot. Anazio walks through the desert wasteland. Still wearing his cloak, the wind beats the sand against him as he covers his face with his arm, trying to shield himself. Panel 2, close up on Anazia as he stops to look forward as he sees something in the distance. Panel 3.
By the way, does anyone get punched in these pages?
Yes. They do.
How long?
Near the end, yeah.
You got a while. Right,
yeah. Panel 3. View from behind. Anaziel looks forward towards a cave opening in the sand. Smoke billows from the opening. Page 5. Anazio rushes towards the cave entrance with his sword drawn. Panel 2. View from behind. Anazia stands in the mouth of the cave. A weak light illuminates from his back as he looks forward over the Haman Hollow. Pillars of light shine down through the small openings in the roof of the cave. The settlement is in ruins. Hundreds of Haman corpses paint the floor of the cave city in blood. Caption left of panel. Anazia. I believed things couldn't get any worse. I was wrong. Title caption bottom center. Of Time and Space, Lunar Rise, Book 2. Page 6. Panel 1. Back on the outside of the cave entrance, Anazia pulls a blood-stained, crumpled, folded sheet of parchment out from under the fold of his uniform on his chest. Panel 2. Anazia looks at the unfolded parchment. Caption. The parchment that Phasion left me upon his death showed me the locations of the hollows that helped set up for the Hamans. It was a simple map of region locations in Seraphim. I would have to search these locations to find the entrance to the hollows. So far, it has not gone well. Panel 3. Anazia activates a device on his arm brace that brings up a map on a screen of it. There are several dots seen present on the map. 2 have a red X over them. Panel 4, he presses his finger against the next dot down from the 2 red X's. Panel 5, the dot turns the third red. Sorry. The dot turns into a third red X.
Definitely.
Yeah. Panel 6, Anazia looks towards the sky, sadness on his face as the smoke from the cave surrounds him with an eerie glow as the green sun peeks through it. Narration. Anazia. It had been 8 moons since I left my home in the sky to look.
Right. I'll do Anazia.
Okay, sure.
It had been 8 moons since I left my home in the sky to look for this supposed hominin savior. My mentor, Phasion, believed he and others in our group had called this child into this world. I had found nothing but death in my search thus far.
All right. Page 7. Panel 1. Anazia is seen walking away into the distance, leaving the destruction behind. Caption.
The attacks were definitely done by Phobos. Something was odd, however. Their methods were always brutal, yet this time they seemed oddly organized. Someone was directing their wrath.
Panel 2. Outside another hollow, a Haman man with black spiked armor and a foreboding full helmet with long straight horns coming off the sides is seen overlooking the entrance from a nearby hill. The viewer behind him looking towards the same direction as him. Panel 3. View facing the Dark Knight as he has a device on his arm raised up to his mouth and is speaking into it. A voice replies back to him.
So you got permission from Warner Brothers to have Batman in here?
Oh yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Yeah. I'll just read this one.
John, why don't you be General Malice?
All right. My Lord Lucicara, we have found the next hollow. What are your orders?
Same as last time. Kill them all!
As you wish, my lord.
Speaking of model, no,
like you have to do evil after
yeah.
that shit, right?
Page 5. Panel 1. Close up on General Malice's hilt as he readies to draw his sword. Panel 2, wide shot. General Malice raises his sword to the sky. Now we see that hundreds of Phobos stand behind him. Panel 3, back to a close-up on General Malice as he points his sword in the direction of the hollow.
Attack!
Panel 4, wide shot. The Phobos rush towards the hollow entrance. Page 6. Panel 1, interior, small hut inside of the hollow made of stone and mud. Jans, a rough-looking Haman man dressed in battle garb, springs awake from a cot to the sound of screaming outside. Panel 2, he jumps to his feet, grabbing a huge sword beside the cot. Panel 3, seen from in front of the hut, looking towards the front door. Jans has flung open the door and is facing the viewer, a confused expression on his face. Panel 4, wide shot. He looks out of the guardhouse, back to the viewer, his sword drawn at his side. The Phobos army is seen running into the hollow entrance ahead of him and down the slope leading to the underground city. People are seen near the entrance fleeing for their lives. Page 7, wide shot. Anazia is seen walking up a slope of a hill from a side view in the desert. Panel 2, wide shot. Back view of Anazia as he stops at the top and looks towards a trail of smoke coming from the entrance to a hollow. Panel 3, close up on his face from the side as he looks on angrily and grits his teeth. He speaks to himself.
Too late again.
Panel 4, close up on the entrance as the caption depicts the sound of muffled screams and weapons clanging together. Panel 5, close up on Zia's face from the side as he yells out in surprise.
The battle is still happening.
Page 8. Panel 1, wide shot looking down inside the hollow near the entrance. Jans fends off 3 Phobos with his sword as people run away behind him deeper into the city. Panel 2, Jans strikes at one of the Phobos, cleaving him down between the neck and left arm. Panel 3, he swings outward across the creature's body. The arm of the Phobos and part of his torso fly off in a gush of black blood. Panel 4, Jans uses the inertia to swing uses the inertia of the swing to spin around towards the next Phobos. Panel 5, he cleaves the next Phobos in 2 at the waist. Panel 6, still spinning his sword forward, he aims for the third Phobos. Page 9. Panel 1, Jans spins around ready to hit his mark. Panel 2, seen from Jans' perspective, the Phobos has quickly moved in front of him and is charging with his mouth open and claws swinging to make a fatal strike on his head. Panel 3, close up on Jans' face as he braces for the oncoming attack. Panel 4, he quickly raises his sword to block. Panel 5, wide shot. The Phobos impacts him and sends him flying backwards. Page 10. Panel 1, wide shot. Jans slams into a nearby rock wall. His sword flies out of his hand. Panel 2, wide shot. He lands face first onto the ground. Panel 3, close up from the side of Jans' face as he raises up his neck. Blood drips from his nose and mouth from the impact. He yells out in rage at his mistake.
Damn it.
There we go.
Dad, I'm Jesus Christ.
Panel 4, view changes from behind Jans as the Phobos that hit him is seen charging towards him with a massive claw aimed at his head. Panel 5, close up on Jans' face as he looks on in fear, unable to move in time. That's the end of the pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot's going on.
Yeah. It gets even worse later on.
We got some epic action.
Yeah.
There's certainly a lot of visuals that an artist can draw that will bring your story to life. What do you think, John?
It's got some good world building. I noticed somebody did comment that in the comments, and I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell that that there's the world feels pretty real in its sci-fi-ness, but it feels like it's a real place. Like
Yeah, Todd's feeling is very reminiscent of Heavy Metal magazine.
I've got that comment a lot about it. So
okay,
especially from the first issue. So
I wasn't really emotionally in like the moments on these things, you know. It felt very well, I guess, kind of back to my notes with John, like I feel like this is all kind of rushed and these people are just on the screen and they're like, order to strike, kill everyone. Like, yeah, and when he's ordering, when he's saying go kill everybody, I really don't know who he's gonna kill, do I? No, right. So again, it's one of these moments of okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to feel there. I don't know what you want the audience to feel there of okay, we've just given this genocidal order to kill people we haven't met yet. That's
maybe
not going to
be
it. Yeah, maybe they deserve it. I mean that's you're not going to get a strong emotional reaction there. And then we have a battle, and I don't really know either side, I don't think, do I?
Well, you might
not if we don't know book one.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So apparently this is all part of his backstory about how 1,000 years ago the one clan didn't like the other clan and they killed each other off, and then another clan interbred with all the other clans.
Let me know if that I posted a link so you can join the Discord, and then we got a writers challenge coming up. Hold the Truth hostage. He's been interacting with you a bit in the chat. He's got this writers thing going to challenge new writers and get them doing stuff. You can come on the stream, present your pages. We're all about doing shared universe and helping each other. So yeah, we'd love to get you involved in this stuff.
Yeah.
So you were saying, John?
So I guess I'm going to kind of like piggyback off of what you're saying. I feel like you have very little happens in a lot of pages.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of pages as just this guy wandering through the desert. And like it's kind of like kind of reminded of Star Wars. What was that? The new one, the Jedi, the
Rise of the Skywalker,
Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens.
When we are the very beginning of the Force Awakens, when we are first introduced to the First Order, and all of that. Remember, we spend time in the tents, and we meet what's his face, and he gets the MacGuffin, and then he leaves the tent, and then the First Order arrive, and then the First Order are kind of doing their thing, and then what's his face, shoots him, and he does the really cool thing with the holding the bullet, and then and then he says, "Okay, kill everybody" or whatever.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like this is not that. And I think that kind of set up the whole, genocidal, murdery, bad guy, because, we were engaged in those people. We knew who they were. We knew we could kind of piggyback off of our emotions again from the previous one, knowing, okay, these are the guys of the rebels and blah, 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 blah. But the whole point was, we did kind of know who these people were. And of course, who does? Oh, Max von Sandel, whatever.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love that guy when he's on screen? So, I mean,
for all the 20 seconds he's in the movie, yeah.
Right, but it's we at least I think what Preston was kind of going off was that at least in that scene we had a bit of an emotional connection with those characters. So when the bad guys showed up and started blasting and killing everybody, we kind of felt for them. So
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Instead, it would be kind of like if the main hero character was just kind of wandering through the desert and then happened upon the camp after the First Order had already started shooting, and we don't know who's who.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, in argument to that, in A New Hope, the stormtroopers just bust into the rebel ship. You don't really know which side is which at that point, right? And they just start killing each other. Then we get a little bit of backstory afterwards, which is kind of where I'm going with it. So there's a big battle and then talking. So
I mean, look, you're allowed. It's your story. You can do any damn thing you want. But it's usually when you are investing the resources to create a big battle, you want the audience to be emotionally involved in the outcome.
Right. Yeah.
And they're not going to be if they don't know either side, really.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, though. I
think the only thing I would say about A New Hope is that the first scene we see giant battle cruiser.
Yeah, and you got big giant ship blowing the shit out of little giant ship. You immediately go, "Oh my goodness!"
We get a David and Goliath.
Right.
So we're immediately rooting for the little guy.
Yeah. Big army of monsters.
We don't even know who the little guy is, but we want that person to succeed. You know,
right? And that's
big army of monsters versus mostly helpless people, though. So,
right.
I mean, sort of the thing. But anyway,
but I don't remember you showing me a lot of big monsters.
Well, that's because I didn't put the descriptions for them in, but
it would help.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Again, all of that.
I didn't want to leave a bunch of paragraphs in the middle of
and establish the big monsters.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put a bunch of paragraphs for character descriptions in the middle of that's so. Yeah.
You don't have to make them paragraphs. You can make them sentences.
Oh, I understand. Yeah.
You can just be an army of ferocious Lovecraftian monsters descends on a city of helpless civilians.
Right.
Deaths ensue. Their screams echo across the camp. That's all you need.
Yeah.
What's up, Molby? Congratulations again. Everyone should back Simptagion. There's a link down in the description.
Thank you, man. I had to be here, man. Larry's first read, man. I feel like that English teacher that Larry said I'm gonna write something, and he never showed up to class the next day. But I think, man, with something like that, as someone who wrote a novel, I know where you're coming from. I think you're better off starting in the middle, where the action's already happening, where you're showcasing the characters running and fright, because, with a novel, you got a lot to unload, man.
I know it's hard. I didn't really think, like when I was writing it, it's kind of weird. Like the original story I wrote was more like the second part, and then I went back and wrote the backstory later on, and this is sort of the backstory comic. And I didn't really want to start with the second part, even though the second part's the more traditional story, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's just I didn't want to get into a situation where if it took off, I'd have to go back and do a prequel, basically. So that was the whole reason I started with this story. But
well, another thing I say is, why didn't you release it as a novel first, man?
That's a really good question. Because I didn't like the way my writing was. I guess I'm not very good at writing prose. So yeah,
you need what they calling people, an editor.
Yes, an editor.
Yeah, I needed an editor. But
to me, man, you could. I'll tell you this: it's easier to flush it out. Like I wrote a novel. I think it's easier for you to pay the people to draw out the characters, where you can have, like, you're reading a page, then boom, an image of the character pops up where they can see how they look, then they dive right back in. Because I think a lot of writers face is that we're so used to reading a physical novel that we live and die by those rules. When in the digital novel, man, you make the rules, man. You could be reading 10 pages of text, then out of nowhere, an image of the city just pops up on 3 pages, where you just let the reader see how it looks. Then they dive right back into the text.
Yeah, that was actually the original format I was going to release it in. It was going to be a novel and then have like an image every few pages. But for whatever reason, I decided to go full strong into comic books into 2018. I can't imagine what happened then that would have prompted me to go into that. But You know?
Cyber Frog. He's a cyber frog chaser.
Yeah. No, not just Cyber Frog. There were a lot of comics coming out at the time. My buddies up here were releasing them, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it anyway.
There's young man.
Yeah.
Man.
So
To me, I think, man, I would say you might want to. I would say you leave it as a novel and jump fresh, because the amount of unloading you gonna have to do, depending on how thick the novel is, it's gonna be a while. And even if it's a slow burn, but to me, you don't necessarily need too much action, man. You know, it's all about, I guess, the presentation. Like if you have a character walking in the desert, if you can showcase, even if it's in a comic form, that they got ripped, torn clothing, you know, where the body and the image tells the story, it'll be all right, you know.
yeah, I know what you mean.
To me, we do too much action, then the public gets, you know, it becomes too dull for some of them. You know, it's pacing. You know?
Yeah. It's funny because the action scene I wrote more as like a reaction to the first book, because the first book doesn't have a lot of action scenes in it, and I had a few comments about that too.
Fair enough.
So I wanted to open with a great
big
huge
some
fight,
action.
and then move into the middle's kind of slow. I'll be honest. There's a lot of like talking in councils and shit like that, kind of like Lord of the Rings, I guess, where they, you know, they have these big action scenes where they get up to Rivendell and then you just slow down.
I mean, what if you just?
What do you mean, like the second Star Wars trilogy?
Yeah.
The prequel trilogy with all of their councils and Senate meetings,
and trade disputes.
Exactly, the trade disputes. That was the most riveting part.
That was good stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, I like stuff like that.
Wielding Sith.
Yeah.
Trade disputes. That's what Star Wars is all about.
Well, I think to me it would have worked more as a TV show, man. If they would have approached that Star Wars like Game of Thrones, you know, where you have multiple, you know, not the film episodic where you got 3, but I'm talking like a episode, season 1.
And boobs.
You know, it would have.
You said Game of Thrones. It's not like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, they did basically do that. That's what Clone Wars was. Clone Wars was really good. So I mean,
Jedi in the streets, Sith in the sheets. You know what I'm saying?
Oh. Yeah. You gotta make that into a shirt, man.
There you go.
That could work.
Anyway,
Larry's come out of retirement.
So, Moby, did you hear any other stories that we presented here?
Oh, I heard the Guinevere, man.
What do you think?
To me, man, you got more aggressive with the pacing, man. You know, to me, there, I think the last week when you wrote it, you were writing on a level where it's too calm. You know, you made this situation. I know I keep going back to this story.
Right.
It was in that contest where that dude wrote, "There's a big explosion. The whole building explodes."
Oh yes, at the testimony.
And the main character's just calm. Like, this happens every day. I lose my parents. I'm involved in a terrorist act every day. So to me, it was just too calm. And then to me, with Gatsby, you need that emotion, like they're with each other, especially since it's the last book. To me, you want to leave it where, yo, man, what if they could get together, man? What's going on?
Yeah.
I still say with the Viviax character, you need to. She gotta be more lewd,
more sexual. Okay.
More lewd with the conversation.
All right.
She just talks too tame.
You know what? I'll give you the script because the lettering's the last part, and you can just write the Viviax lines.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
I was gonna do that.
I'm kind of disappointed we didn't have any blowjobs this episode.
I don't know. Like, what did you think of me starting just after the kiss? I wrote page 1, big lesbo kiss, and then I'm like, no, delete. I'm gonna start just after. Like, she opens and she's got like the spiritual scar, like lip shape on her mouth. Like,
Anyway, you were in the moment. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's what you were. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I didn't remember enough to remember why she was smearing the lipstick. Right. I just figured, something happened and.
Right. Well, I feel like, all right. you know.
But that's just me not being super familiar with issue 4. That's
Okay.
I you know.
To me, that ain't bad as a flashback scene. You know, maybe you know the same kiss scene but a different angle. Because
Right.
to me, if this the last book, it's gotta be the fireworks, man.
Well, and that's why I'm like,
back.
you know, if I take the lesbian and I just cut it, see, then I got more room for other stuff. And instead I had this kind of like bedroom scene, except they're not in the bedroom, where Elizabeth is putting herself back together, and they're like discussing shit, and Guinevere was like, no one commented on that, but I thought I was
Preston, man. It's
it kind of flew over my head, to be honest.
it's
There.
time
Yes, me too.
okay.
And you know, I mean, if you wanted it to be subtle, then you know, congratulations. But then, of course, you know, it depends on the purpose.
Well, it's subtle in the script, but maybe not so much in the visuals, right? So
right, exactly. Yeah.
Things, man. Once you go HBO, you can't go PBS, man. You gotta go all the way. You gotta stay on the HBO. No PBS, man. Can't censor it, man. You gotta go uncut and raw, man.
Okay, fair enough.
This was good, man. Larry came out of retirement, man.
There we are.
I haven't had anything new on here.
And what do you think of the guy getting sodomized to death with a broom hand?
Oh, the broom. I'm thinking John's gonna start the adult advertisement for the Roomba, man. You know?
There you
go. Oh man,
it'll work, man. The only thing I would say from reading, hearing you reading, John, the only thing I would say is, you know, I should have said, I didn't hear it last time, but I think you got to write the demon like it's an adult. You know what I'm saying? So the demon's been through everything, so it won't talk as, like you were saying, you were trying to make it more, not calm. What is it? Not cute. I forget the wording, but you were making it more lighthearted. But I would say, since you're having a demon talk, and that demon's, you know, thousands of years of experience, you don't need to hold back with how, you know, vicious and violent the demon talks, since that's not that, you know, Lolita character. You know what I mean? I mean, Tatiana character. So, you know, you don't have to actually calm her down. That's the demon speaking. You know, if that demon's from hell, it's seeing people get anally probed with lava. You know what I mean? It wouldn't hold back in reality, you know. So my thing with that, you don't need to be lighthearted with the demon. With the girl, to me though, from reading all of the scripts, I think this is one of those where you're gonna finish the script, then you're gonna go back and kind of add certain parts that make it more, you know what I'm saying, more connected. Because to me, the only problem I got with that book is the way you started with the relationship with the father and daughter. To me, it just too quickly, it got to the point where, you know, it's like there's no connection at all, especially since you don't have the mom at all in the script. I just think for that character, you need to have where she latches more onto that loss of her father, you know, especially since you got that 90s goth feel to it. You know, them 90s films where the teenager hates their parents.
I was in high school in the 90s.
Oh, you know,
the 90s goth was my thing.
You know?
Exactly.
You know, I hate you, Mom. Then once Mom dies, cries, tears, and all that stuff, man. You know what I mean? Because
her mom died like 6 years before the story took place.
No, I'm saying the father. You know, once the father's dead,
killed her father.
Yeah, but the demon killed her father, man. You know what I'm saying? So when she wakes back up, the tears, that pain, you know, it's got to be unleashed. But I would say this is something where you go back, you know, once the script's all written and you see where it all ends, you go right back.
I'm gonna do that. Episode 1 and 2 kind of flow together because they're kind of like my pilot. And then, after episode 2, I'm gonna kind of, you know, work on rewriting it. And I tried to make the demon character lighter because she's our main character, and I want her to be likable, and I want the audience to like her. And even though she's a demon and she's gonna act like a demon, and you know, but I still want her to be, you know, kind of like a character that the audience enjoys seeing on screen, and laughs at her antics, even though they might be, devilishly evil.
Well, but if you gonna do that, then that would mean you have to flip that demon's whole attitude. That means you're trying to mix that demon's personality with the character. Then you would have to flip it to where probably brutally injured her father, but because to me you gotta choose: is the demon its own person? And to me, you can feel sorry for the girl, but you're not gonna. It's gonna be one of those. I hate the demon, but I love that little girl. I hope she can get saved and exorcise the demon. Because to me, you can't have a likable demon when killed the father, and there's no. Had the demon injured her father in a bad way, like laughingly or jokingly, or when a daughter throws a tantrum and slaps the hell out of her father. If it was that scenario and the father's bleeding and he ends up in a coma and she wakes up crying or something, then you would have a likable demon. But if the demon just killed her father, then your best bet's gonna be that they feel sorry for the possessed child. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it.
Okay. I mean, that's not where I'm going with the story, but if I did that, it would take the story in a direction that I had no intention for it to go.
No, to me, you could still go.
My story is a buddy story.
Well, with the demon's behavior, I don't know about the buddy aspect, but to me, I'd say you still go the route you're gonna go, but to me, you're gonna end up with, I hate the demon, but I want the Tatiana chick to be saved. That's the
Tatiana
balance.
is not the girl. Tatiana is the angel.
Oh.
That's on a holy vengeance
Lolita.
mission.
My bad.
Lolita is the demon, and yeah.
My bad.
So the premise of the show is Emmy and Lolita. It's kind of a buddy show where they go around helping people who are left out by society.
So you're saying kind of like Touched by a Dark Angel.
You could say that, yes.
That remind me, remember that Family Guy where they said, "Where did the angel touch you?"
So by the end of issue 2, because remember, issue 1 ended with Lolita breaking Emmy out of the mental hospital. So by the end, and we don't know why yet. So we don't know why all of a sudden Lolita, who's here partying up, and now all of a sudden she's gone back to Emmy. Like she just left her there. And now she's come back. And we don't know why yet. That'll be explained very soon. But there's going to be there's a reason why their paths are going to cross, and then they're going to basically kind of do a team up thing, and I have stuff that's going to happen, and but where it's eventually going to go is that they're going to basically it's going to be like a buddy series where they go around and help people, and Lolita is kind of the brawn because she's supernatural, so she's really strong and immortal and all that kind of stuff. And Emmy is going to have to keep her in check and, tell her don't kill people. And, because basically it's going to end up with them both wanting something from the other person. Lolita wants and needs something from Emmy, and Emmy needs something from Lolita. And in order for them to each accomplish their own goal, they're going to have to team up. And that's kind of the whole premise of the show.
Well, the only thing I would say, to me, you're going to end up going back to rewrite. The problem you missing, even with the buddy aspect, is you don't have enough redeeming qualities with the character. Even when for example, the broom scene, had the Lolita. No, let me out. Had you had the Lolita character try to help her, But to me, the thing you're gonna need is that if it's a buddy, they're gonna help people, and an angel helps her. You're gonna need the reader to see a redeeming quality within that girl. You know, because
They're gonna find the redeeming qualities in Emmy, not in Lolita.
I'm just saying you're gonna need that aspect, because if they're just reading it as from issue 1 to whatever, she's just a cold-blooded killer, then out of nowhere you do the flip, you're gonna risk losing the reader.
I'm hoping that through issue 2, episode 2, that flip doesn't come out of nowhere. And she's still going to be a demon. Like, she is still going to act like a demon. Like, she does some pretty evil stuff, and she's very, very selfish and very, very demon-esque. And even when she's doing good for people, because again, her motivation is she's not doing good for good's sake. She's doing good because it makes Emmy happy, because Emmy is giving her something that she wants.
You know what I noticed in this stream, man? Besides me, like, all 3 of y'all write books about heaven and hell, man. You know, it's like all 3 of y'all were kicked out of church at one point in your lives, man.
There you go.
It's very true, actually. So.
Hey, man, Preston is in Texas, man. That type of language about the church.
All right. Do we want to finish up back to school bastards?
Man, if y'all got time, man. I don't know. It's up to Preston.
Do we have time?
Do we get it?
Hey, it's up to your stream. I'm here.
All right, here, we'll finish
Not
it
going
up.
nowhere.
All right.
This time I'll do the narrator, man.
Go ahead.
Where are we?
This is page 40.
All right. All the students are sound asleep when the teacher, Jalissa Catherine Lopez, late 20s, Latino female, dressed in a nice dress, sandals, smoking a joint with her hair in a ponytail, kicks the door open. Up, all the students except Riggs wake up. You know, you could be John. You could be the teacher. You know,
Class, I'm sorry I'm late. I lost the script for our school play. I know it's the first day of the play. I know the first day, but the play is very important to your growth. So instead, we will be writing a new script instead. Okay. Now, before we start, I want you all inspired and activating your creativity, so bear with me and remain seated, class.
Jalissa's reaching into the drawer behind her desk and pulls out a Ziploc bag full of blunts, then proceeds to place one blunt on each of the desk of each student.
Now, class, place it in your mouth, and I will go around and get you lit.
Larry, you could be Tyrone, man.
Sure. Shit, we about to get high in class. Now this is some next level shit.
Jalissa walks around and lights the blunt of each student. Riggs being asleep, Jalissa places the blunt in his mouth, then lights it with a match, and even while asleep, Riggs takes a pull and smokes. Some students start coughing.
Now, class, I want you to pull out your phones and start writing some ideas down. And don't be afraid, this class is all about expanding your creativity.
Montage. Some of the students are passing blunts between one another, back and forth. Chad and Tyrone are having a push-up contest as Jalissa counts, both still with the blunts in their mouth. Students are moving away the desks to make room for dancing, then form a circle, and some students start a dance battle. Riggs is still asleep. The students form a circle and start playing the bongo, other instruments. Then the door opens to reveal Paul Mee on a unicycle, smoking a large blunt made out of bamboo and juggling bags of weed, then riding into the circle and standing on the unicycle. Paul Mee picks up a still sleeping yet smoking Riggs and passes him around as the class lifts him up and passes him around in a circle. Fade out. Riggs is still asleep, being carried by Tyrone and Chad out of the class. Oh, you could be Chad Preston.
Thank you, Miss Jealosa. I really needed this.
I can finally say that I have experienced higher learning.
No, I'm just gonna tell you, Moby, you gotta break up these big, long walls of text, man.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Chad and Tyrone are right behind Riggs. All are walking as though they are in slow motion, eyes bloodshot red. There is still a blunt hanging out of Riggs' mouth. Riggs goes to knock on the math class door, and it is kicked open by the math teacher, May Q Lin, an Asian male in his late 60s, who then kicks Riggs right in the stomach, causing Riggs to slam right into a locker from behind and knocking the blunt out of his mouth towards the ceiling. May Kui then low kicks Chad, causing him to fall face first onto the floor. Then May Q fly kicks Tyrone right in the chest, causing him to roll backwards all the way down the stairs, not too far behind him. Then May Q grabs the blunt before it hits the ground and starts smoking. You could be the May Q guy, John.
You boys are late, which means no class for you today and big test tomorrow. So leave my sight before I break you until saying your name is the only thing you can do.
Riggs and Chad quickly run away, then trip over Tyrone on the stairs. Oh, that's you, Preston, your Riggs.
That teacher is rough, man.
He kicked me so hard on the chest that my ass hurts.
Can you all just shut up and get the hell off of me?
Tyrone and Riggs get off of Chad, then both help him up.
Well, fuck, I'm hungry anyway, so let's head to lunchroom.
I can't say I'm hungry, but beats taking another beating from that crouching tiger teacher prick.
Tyrone is staring into the camera, sitting beside Riggs.
I've had my share of ass kicks. I mean, Pops once beat me with a belt on the edge of a 50-story building, but now, how the fuck did he kick me in the chest and my ass fucking hurts so fucking much?
That's you, Preston.
He is old and Asian. It must have been the dragon chest kick pain. Kick-ass pain, yeah.
Riggs, Tyrone, and Chad are waiting in line for lunch, and it's a long line. You could be John, and you could be the strange student.
I've heard we're having pork. Hopefully it's freshly slaughtered so I can feel it soul through the flavor.
Senior student pushes the strange kid out of line. You get John.
Look, I'm in no mood for your shit. Get to the back of the line, weirdo, before I violate the freak out of you.
Strange student walks to the back of the line. Oh, that's Preston.
Here I thought something would be normal at some point today. We got a confessional room.
Cut to confessional room. Chad is sad. Still, Chad.
I had finally gotten past the sound of the pig squealing before that freak mentioned it. Oh, I'm no bully, but I swear.
Back to lunch. Chad is cracking his knuckle while in line.
If someone else speaks about pork, again, my knuckles will be resting on their fucking face.
Tyrone.
Chad just got serious.
All right. Wow, that's professional. Riggs is just getting served the last piece of chicken by the lunch lady, fat elderly lunch lady. Then it's Chad's turn to get served, so he steps up.
Man, I'll just have the salad. I'm just not feeling like I can carnivore right now, if you don't mind.
Sonny, you don't look like you suck dick, so you have some of this pork and stop being such a faggot.
The lunch lady is in the process of pouring a large amount of pork on Chad's tray. A close-up of Chad's face, his eyes glowing red. The cut to the pork, the sound of the pig squealing from when Chad was hanging it, then cut back to a close-up of Chad's nose to mouth with steam coming out of his nose as he grinds his teeth, then quickly cut back to a close-up of the pork falling on his plate with the sound of squealing of the pig being heard.
Dude, that's like 10 shots in that one paragraph.
Yeah.
You write montage or series of shots or that is
My bad.
Your 10 pages that you're presenting are like 15 pages crammed into 10, and there's way too much here.
Yeah.
My bad, man.
All right, we'll go through 5 pages tonight. How's that? Since they're like 10. All right.
Chad punches the fat elderly lunch lady, causing her to break right through the vending machine behind her, and his tray full of pork falls to the ground with his eyes glowing red. Chad.
Food fight.
Food begins to fly from everywhere. One of the lunch guys hops over the serving area, and Chad punches him right in the jaw, knocking him out before he even lands. Chad jumps over the table, tackling Riggs, who was about to be hit by a potato while about to take a bite of his chicken.
What the fuck, man? I was about to eat. Oh, and then, if you haven't noticed, we are in the middle of a food fight. Yeah, said the fucking jerk who started it. No time for talk. We're at war, Riggs.
Chad fortifies the lunch table into cover as trays and food continue to be tossed from all angles. We'll switch it. You could be Riggs, John. That way.
Yeah.
All right. So, Captain Chad Assinghall, how do we make it out of here alive since you started this?
One unlucky student is hit by multiple forks to the chest and falls right on the floor with his eyes closed and mouth wide open.
I have no idea. I think we'll be lucky if our corpses can be identified with all the food and shit flying around.
Tyrone appears out of nowhere behind Chad and Tyrone. Behind Chad and Tyrone from the shadows. My bad.
There's only one way out of this, bitch. We have to fight back.
With what exactly?
Just watch and learn.
Tyrone tosses a cherry towards students charging towards their table, and they look at the cherry below them and laugh. Then it explodes. They slam into the wall covered in cherry juice. Crawling towards them, Rudy, a high school senior African male that's dressed like a combination of Chucky and Steve Urkel, with glasses, high top fade haircut, long socks, and tap shoes. That could be you, John, I guess.
Please help me. I'm not fit for this type of violence.
Students are fighting, some breaking trays over the head of others. Some students are holding others in position as another student kicks apples up the ass of another student. One huge obese student is literally eating the food off the floor. Tyrone grabs Revy's hand and pulls him towards them for cover.
Look, we're all in this together. Survivors get to live on, those who have passed are forgotten.
Unless they died epically.
Riggs, I'm speeching not to you, so clip your lips before I break your jaw.
Yes, sir.
Like I was saying.
No more time for saying shit. Just got all cray.
The fat elderly lunch lady rises back to her feet and runs back into the kitchen, then comes back out with a potato Gatling gun with potato ammo around her shoulders. As she fires at the students, the potatoes explode, causing the students to fly backwards into the wall. Some fly upwards and hit the ceiling.
Damn, that old bitch. You fucked up. You ain't lacking no more. She packing some heavy shit.
Tell me something I don't know.
Well, I won't be the black guy who dies in this movie. You guys are on your own.
Let's see. All right, let's. That was 6 pages. Let's stop there, since these pages are pretty dense, and then we'll have more for next time. I notice we're nearing the end.
Oh man.
All right, man. It gets it ain't done. I gotta step back in. It's one of those scripts where you wrote like 80% and for some reason you stopped. I just gotta wrap it up, but just trying to keep it funny, man.
I understand. Go ahead, Larry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm trying not to laugh through the whole thing, but it was hard. It was definitely funny.
Yeah.
So now we got broomsticks and apples going up people's asses. So
it's definitely a theme. We have heaven, hell, and sodomy. There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
It's the trifecta.
Trifecta. For the record, sodomy was not in my pages. We were not going anywhere up the butt in my pages. It was everybody else.
I didn't have any sodomy.
So. I got nothing.
Yeah. This stream is not sponsored by the church.
Exactly.
I don't think this stream is sponsored by anybody.
John, what do you got? What do you think?
Sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Sorry.
I can't recall the last time I saw a movie that had a food fight in it.
Yeah.
So you are bringing the food fight back, man. That's. I mean, I remember growing up, it was like every other movie had a food fight.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen one of those in ages. So
losing it with a potato gun because I always make fun of, or I always joke around about making a potato gun to fire at people. But anyway, so that was hilarious. Potato Gatling gun. That's
especially with the potatoes on the ammo. That was
yeah. Great.
The funny thing is that's based on a true story. What happened? High school started a food fight, and when I left, I ran to another class, and I come back. The principal, the whole class is blaming me, so they put all the weight of that food fight on me. I was gonna get expelled senior year,
Shit.
But by the grace of God, I prayed and I gave the principal the old puppy eyes.
There you go.
I graduated.
Oh man.
I never know what to say. The pages are always entertaining. You need some work on your format.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Go back on that one.
Yeah. But yeah, Raid Shadow, exactly. Yeah, oh yes. Can't forget Raid Shadow. Everybody check that out. Definitely drop a link to that coming up.
Yeah. We got a discount code here.
And anyone got any more notes, or is it time to sign out and get me shipping books again?
I gotta say, son, anybody looking to learn to write, we're hosting a contest on the Discord. You could join.
I will update the link down in the description since people are having a hard time with that.
Right, the link took me to a picture of my parents doing something when I was younger, and it scarred me since I was. Preston had a moment where he thought about it.
Yeah.
It might have really happened. Nah, but if you're looking to learn to write, man, and get your character drawn, if you win, we're doing a once a month contest. You could learn to write, get your characters. Well, we're doing some positive stuff, man. You could join the Discord. and you can finally stop complaining about comics and start learning how to create them.
Yeah.
What's those old '90s commercials? Because knowledge is power.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you don't learn by watching, you learn by doing.
Oh, that is. Hey.
You know, you just got to do it and do it and do it, and you know, you take the criticism, the and all of that, and you learn from it, and you come back and you try again. And perseverance is it's if you really want to be successful in this game, it's about perseverance. It's about not giving up when somebody gives you shit because and who knows, maybe they're just angry because they never accomplished anything in their life, or maybe what they're saying is actually has merit. And sometimes you got to take everything with a grain of salt, but you got to keep putting it out there, and you got to keep persevering. And
keep in words of a '90s black politician, keep hope alive.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, cool. I guess that's about it. We'll sign out. I'll update the link down in the Discord for people who want to join and get in the writing contest. And I'm going to get back to shipping books. So,
all right.
Sounds like a fun time.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good
Yeah.
Take care.